Paul Hunham did nothing wrong. Free him. The Holdovers, starring Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa, Divine Joy Randolph, and many more, is a story about an instructor at a New England prep school that remains on campus during Christmas break to babysit a handful of students with nowhere to go. He soon forms an unlikely bond with the brainy but damaged troublemaker, and with the school's head cook, a woman who just lost her son in the Vietnam War. I first saw a trailer for this movie a couple months ago, and I didn't really think too much of it. I thought that it just looked like a good movie that might be coming out in November that I might get a chance to catch. And then I saw the trailer a couple more times and different trailers, and I'm like, I really want to see this. Then reviews started coming out. It was getting extremely good reviews. I've seen Sideways before. It's the same director with Paul Giamatti, and I decided to go and see it last night. And it's one of my favorite movies of the year, if not my favorite movie. This movie is absolutely phenomenal. And with that out of the way, let's get into the good of this. Every single performance in this movie is Oscar worthy. Paul Giamatti is absolutely amazing as Paul Hunham. Dominic Sessa is absolutely flawless as Angus. And the heart and soul of this movie is Mary, played by Divine Joy Randolph. She is just perfect. You feel so much for her character. You really watch the relationship develop between Hunham and Tully through her eyes. And her insight to both of them on how to figure out how to get along together is amazing. And again, you just feel every single emotion that she's feeling. She truly is the heart and soul of this movie. Like the one scene once they go to Boston later on in the movie, and like one of the scenes with her and her sister is just gut-wrenching, and it's amazing storytelling. Now, something that I didn't expect about this movie was Paul Hunham being almost the same throughout the entire movie. He doesn't change that much himself as a person, which I absolutely loved, because that's how humans work. You watch the trailer and you think that he finally comes around to being this changed man who is so much less of a bah humbug asshole all the time. But he just doesn't, which honestly is my favorite character choice in a movie that I've seen this year. It understands how humans are. Like, this movie fundamentally understands how humans act, how humans work, how human emotions are. And Paul Hunham is the quintessential piece of all of that. He doesn't change towards anybody but Angus, and he only really gets soft with him because that's how people work. Once you spend so much time with somebody who you're forced to spend time with, or you like spending time with, you're a lot more willing to be soft and more open to everything about them. But when you're in a room full of a bunch of people who you don't really know that much and you don't really care to know that much, you're still going to be the same person that you were, but that one person, this happens to be Angus, is going to know a softer side of you. And that, again, that's just how people work. And even in their relationship on its own, Paul Hunham, like, he doesn't change that much. They'll yell and bicker at each other one moment and then be hugging in the next, because, again, that's how humans are. And it's one of the best movies that I've ever seen it illustrating, like, just how people interact with each other. And the story does so much with tackling themes. You really can't put this in any specific genre, because it has so much social commentary on the rich and the upper class and how we should be treating them in other aspects of our world. Like Paul Giamatti, his character, Paul Hunham, he literally says, like, the world's on fire, blah, 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 blah. And goes on basically this entire speech kind of centered around environmentalism, and this movie's set in the 1970s, talks a lot about rebellion, talks a lot about, again, the rich and the upper class, and how people should be treated fairly. And again, it tackles so much in 2 hours and 13 minutes. And this movie does not feel like 2 hours and 13 minutes at all. It is paced so unbelievably well. I got so invested into this movie. It was 10 p.m. on a Thursday when I went and saw it, and I was wide awake the entire time. I was so invested into it. I did not miss a beat. It was absolutely flawless. And this is honestly one of the funniest movies of the year, if not the funniest movie of the year that I've watched. It is so dense with jokes, and it just gives you so many moments to laugh at throughout the movie. And I'd say most, if not all, of the jokes landed in this, and it just worked really well. I also thought that the soundtrack, the song choices that they had there, I know that there's one Cat Stevens song, but overall there's like 3 or 4 songs that they used throughout this movie, and I thought that all of them were really good choices for the aesthetic of the movie, for the feel of the movie. This movie definitely is a Christmas movie, whether Alexander Payne, the director, likes to admit it or not. This is a Christmas movie, 1,000,000%. It's set at Christmas, and it has almost every single theme that a Christmas movie has. There's a guy dressed up as Santa, and yeah, like it is a Christmas movie. The only negative that I really have with this movie is that it could have been set more in the time period, because this movie takes place in 1970 and 71 in the winter break over that time period, and it just doesn't feel like 1970, 71, that time period. It doesn't really give you any of that late 60s, early 70s feeling outside of knowing that Mary's son died in the Vietnam War. But again, that is an extremely minor complaint that I have with this movie. I'd still give this movie a solid 4.75, 4.8, 4.9 out of 10, or 4.9 out of 5. It's, again, probably, it's going to be in my top 3 minimum for best movies of the year. I absolutely loved it. I really hope that this movie gets some sort of Oscar buzz, because it absolutely deserves it. Paul Giamatti is flawless in this movie. He deserves a Best Actor nomination. Divine Joy Randolph deserves a Best Supporting Actress nomination, 1,000%. I'm not sure that Angus is really going to get anything for Best Supporting Actor with how crowded that category is. But again, all of these performances are flawless. This is a movie that you should be going out and supporting. Go out and see this movie this weekend if you can, if it's in theaters near you. I know that I had to wait an extra week or 2 before it got to mine. But again, try and go see this movie. It's absolutely amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. Let me know what you thought of the Holdovers down in the comments below. Let me know. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we will see you in the next movie review.